Hey guys, welcome back. I think this video, I won't really cover a lot like I have been in regards to, like, you know, doing the bonnet or doing the guards or the boot. I'll do the, I'm just going to focus on getting these gutters right. Get the gaps good in that, and then I've got to start seam sealing. But the other day, I fixed all this up. This is all butchered, and it still is a little bit wonky in a way, but I'm happy with it. Had to fix that side too. But I'm missing the driver's side section. This bit here. So I contacted this place. I think it's a Victoria Ford Rusty Rex. He wanted $50 for that, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. But yeah, he's got to make a living out of what he does, so I'm not going to worry about getting that just yet. Contacted the dude who I bought this car off, and he reckons he might have one in his shed, but I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. But yesterday I had a bit of a failed attempt at trying to fix the rear suspension in my FG Falcon, because the other week I towed me mate's Mitsubishi Evolution 8 to Sydney Roll Racing, and the XYZ coils in the back, they got like an adjustable sort of seat on them. I've adjusted, they're slowly sagging over time, but they've sagged to the point where I've adjusted them to the max height they'll go. And yeah, telling me mates Evo down sort of topped it off. They've sagged, yeah, pretty badly. But so what I've done, I got on eBay and bought some King springs. They're approximately 40 to 50 mil lower than factory. And the idea was I was hoping to put the coils in there, and then for the car to be pretty low in the back, and then I just used the XYZ adjustable seats and just lift the height up to where I liked it. But it's the problem I have now, I've used the XYZ seats, but the outer spring at the bottom sort of going over I'll show you, because I like to do a bit of towing with this car. So from memory, like from my experience, King springs are pretty firm. So it sits reasonably low, which is not too bad. But the concern is that when you put a trailer on it, the arse doesn't sit right down, and it can handle a bit of abuse. And the King springs are good in that regard. There. Look pretty good. This side's not too bad, but the other side, I've had to bump it up about probably 10 mil. I'm just gonna have to see how they go, but I reckon I'm gonna have to do away with that XYZ seat. It's just it's not designed for that coil. That coil, I think it needs to use the original FG Falcon rubber mount, so the whole spring can sort of sit flat. But not worried about that at the moment. I spent a full day on that yesterday, and bloody sore. I'm paying for it today. Pretty sore. So what I'll do now, I'm gonna do all these gutters. So what I'll do now, yeah, I'll just focus on all this gutter, getting the gaps right. So I think that's pretty good as it is. I've touched that, but these gutters have been replaced. I'll put new gutters in, because yeah, these will rust out really badly. So I made this tool just now. You should do the job. It's roughly 10 mil. I was comparing the gaps of these gutters to the Escort, because yeah, I'm not really sure. All I've got to really go off is this gap here. So it's got a bit of slap in it there, but I can close that up a little bit to even it up with this. So what I'll do, I've got this paintless dent removal tool. I found this really good off eBay. It's got all these different little mini slide hammer. But so what I'll do now is just get this tool, put it in there like so, and just start pretty good. Gaps are pretty good as they are, but I've opened it up a little bit. It's binding up a little bit, but I think it's just catching on the bottom. Gotta clean that up in there a bit. Yeah, can't get in there properly. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good now. So what I've done, I'll just get this little ruler, check the gaps. Yep, that's spot on. That's really good. But the true test is when I flip the car over and see how it looks. Yeah, that's not too bad. But it doesn't really matter how this looks because I've got this chrome strip. Unfortunately, I've only got the one. I've only got the one, unfortunately. The other one doesn't exist, so this goes over like that. But I'll have to get on the internet when it's due time and buy a new strip. So I'll give this one a bit of abuse, doesn't matter. See how it looks. So I got the strip on. All I've done is use this hammer. This comes loose, that thing. Just tap it on the top gently. It gets it over the lip properly, and then it tucks in from underneath. Then you just sort of go like that, work your way along. But it's not in a very good way. See, it's got a few dings here and little marks down here, so I won't be using it. But it was just more or less a trial run to see how it looks, and yeah, it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But unfortunately, yeah, I haven't got the other one, another one to test the other side. From memory, I think they're about $400 a pair. So yeah, you want to make sure that you put them on properly. You don't rush it, because yeah, it wouldn't be hard to stuff them up. So I'll move on to the other side now and get the gaps good on it. In one of my previous videos, I said that I was going to do some seam sealing, and someone said they wanted to see me do it. I was going to film it, but I think, you know, it's probably handy to know, because I think a lot of people get too excited with the silicone Sikaflex and they put too much on. But I've done the gutters. That's pretty straightforward. But I'll do a quick demo of how I do it. But you can see where I've got all up in here, and you don't need much. Because yeah, obviously you're going to get water every now and then, or possibly get in here in different areas, so try to seal it up best I can. But I'm going to use another type of sealer in here. Probably use like a fish oil or something to get right in there. Some areas you just can't get in there properly. So what I'll do, I've already done it all up in here. Just roll the car over a bit more. Gotta waste them. So, in my unit, the rats got in the, mice got in my son's room, got inside his drawers, so I disposed of all his clothes. I could have washed them, but I thought, nah, I'll just get rid of them. Wasn't a lot in there, but so what I do, just get a bit of this wax and grease remover. It's just terps, but got that on there. Saturate it. Just start wiping it. And you keep rubbing it like this. And it just, yeah, it only remains in areas where we really need it. Can just flip them over and sort of reuse them. Got a lot of it done. You can see the whole way along there. All in there. You could spend a lot of time doing all up in these areas and that. I was going to do it, but I thought, hang on, I'll leave that when it comes to time, and I you know, getting ready to paint the engine bay and the door jambs, because you basically paint the engine bay, door jambs, boot area, and that you do all that, and then you paint the outside of the car. Well, that's how I want to do it. So I'll leave the engine bay. That's gonna be another lot of a heap of work. So I'll leave that till later. It's all good. What I'll do now, I'll start doing all inside it. Doing all the seams in there, especially up in this firewall. So I've got the car flipped on its side, set up my little stool so I can get in here and get in these little areas, fill that up, but I can't touch this area because it hasn't been epoxied. There's no protection there for it. Just asks for trouble, rust and that. So yeah, Sikaflex all this up. Don't know how well you can see it. It's pretty hard, this GoPro. It doesn't zoom in very good. Do up in here. I'll get a little bit generous of it here. It's pretty, gap opens up a fair bit in some areas. A lot of issues cleaning the sealant they used from factory. This car is a lot in there. They really do put a lot in there. Saturated really good. This pretty much liquefies. It dissolves the Sikaflex, so it cleans up really good. I noticed when I was looking at every now and then usually before a night shift, and I've got to start chilling out and get ready to sleep in the afternoon. I get on the internet and I look at like sites and seeing what, like websites and for the parts of these sort of cars, like the GT shop and muscle car parts or something. I don't know what they are, I don't remember them, but I've saved the pages. But looking at all the bits and pieces you can get, I'm seeing you get like this sort of like a heat sort of wrap, what do you call it? So you put on the firewall here and it's perfectly cut out to suit all these holes in that. So yeah, I've been looking at stuff like that, get an idea about what I'm going to do down the track. But yeah, it was pretty expensive, but I think it'd definitely be worth it, because I noticed when I was at in Summernats, me mate's SLR 5000, he's got, you know, extractors on it, pretty cranky 308 V8, and the heat coming off the firewall was unreal. Had no air conditioning, and yeah, pretty bad. I'll do it all in here now. I've actually run out of Sikaflex. Pain in the ass. I did use a lot. You also, when you put it on there generously, you lose a lot when you wipe it off, but I've done the firewall. Done the areas like in there. Inside the car on the firewall. And I started doing underneath the car. And there on out. But yeah, live and learn. I wasn't sure how much I was going to use, but I reckon I'm going to have to really... I got one of these telescopic, or these small cameras, and get right in here. I'm going to have a good look and look at the areas that are critical, because yeah, obviously water's going to get in there now. Settle in beyond that, it won't be able to get out. It's just going to be absolutely shocking. It's just going to rust up again. So rather than have that happen, I'll get right in there and seal it up. Find a way of doing it. You get into most of these areas, like in here, it's obviously pretty easy, but right up in here, even if I have to get like a sealant that sprays inside it. What I might do now, I might get me Falcon. So I just put those new springs in yesterday. I'm concerned about how they sit. I'll just make sure it's alright, because I've got to use it for work, obviously. But yeah, funny thing happened last week. I was at my son's soccer, and I brought the Escort, and this is the first season I've been able to drive the Escort, because it hasn't been on the road. But yeah, drove the Escort there, and standing around watching me son playing soccer and that, and one of the fellas there, he comes up and he goes, "Is that your Escort, is it?" I said, yeah, and then got talking, you know, and he comes from out, I won't say where, but up in the valley, further in the valley here, and he's got acreage and stuff, and we were talking about cars. He's like, his father's into old Holdens, he's into old Holdens, they're all got cars and that. And yeah, he said, "Have you seen that coupe sitting in the paddock?" He described to me the location, and it's the middle of nowhere, dirt road, out the sticks, like, so, it's something you would not expect to see. And yeah, he told me where it was and that, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, I'll have to go have a look at this. So I got out my Google Maps and he showed me whereabouts it was. But then when I dropped the pin of the location, I lost the location. I couldn't find it. So I'm like, all right. Told me older brother about it, because he really wants a coupe, but yeah, he just can't afford one at the moment. Told him about it. I said, why don't we, after night shift, we'll go up the valley and see if we can find it, because I know the road pretty good. It used to be a back road to get to work. But yeah, pretty much it's more or less full drive roads. Like two-wheel drive cars don't like it too much. But yeah, after night shift, we drove along this road, and I'm going along, and I'm looking roughly to where it would be, because I sort of remember a house of cars laying around there. I looked over in the paddock, and there's this coupe sitting there. I couldn't believe it. XB coupe. And we weren't going to go and talk to the guy or anything. I was just going to go, yeah, and that's where it is, whatever. But then I thought, bugger it. Just go have a chat with him. So I went down his driveway, knocked on his door, and these two little dogs come tearing up there, going off at us at the at the door and that, and yeah, talking to this fella, and he's really good. Like, he's down to earth and stuff. He said we're not the first to pull up and ask about the coupe. But yeah, I asked him if he wanted to sell it. He's like, no way. He wants to keep it. He actually said that he's got another in the shed, and that one sitting in the paddocks of GT. I'm like, yeah, right. They had a closer look, had the GT bonnet. I didn't want to go intrude too much. Like, already, you know, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, very remote location. It's not like people rock up there all the time to see him, like, out of the blue. And yeah, so he doesn't want to sell it. And he told me about these other cars he's got, and I'm just blown away. It was like a Plymouth Barracuda, like American muscle car, sitting in the paddock. He bought that from America, and the car wasn't as good as what they said it was in the photos, and it's got a lot of rust in it, but he's letting that go to rust. But yeah, it was unreal. Coupe sitting out in the paddock. There's plenty out there. There's another fella from work, he's got a XB GT. He mentioned to me brother he wanted to sell it. And I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind buying it. And then I started looking into it further, and I actually hit him up and he changed his mind. But yeah, XB GT sitting on his mum's farm in the shed. Been there for, he reckons about 15 years or more. But yeah, he's had it for ages. He only paid like $3,000 for it. Unreal. And I showed him photos of mine and the rust. And he's like, yeah, man, mine's nothing like that. It's heaps better. But yeah, would have been a good car for me brother if that dude wanted to sell it. Something for him to start on, because he's put a lot of time in to help me with this car. But it is what it is. Plenty of others out there. I'll wrap it up for this video, guys, and put another one up soon, but more than likely to be bodywork, I reckon. I'll do the rest of the Sika flexing, but yeah, be mostly bodywork.